onto you all. When I went to take my nephew to his first day of school, all these kids were walking around in Dragon Ball book bags. And I saw their parents picking them up wearing Dragon Ball hoodies. And I realized they have passed down Dragon Ball to the next generation. Even the following day after Toriyama passed, I'm in the store and I see this guy decked out in a Dragon Ball jacket. He's showing it to me. I'm showing him my Dragon Ball gear I got on. He had a son, probably about 7 years old. He gets in between us and says, I'm a Dragon Ball fan too. And I was like, that's awesome. You know, I gave him a fist bump and I go like, Dragon Ball forever. And this kid goes, Dragon Ball forever. And, you know, it just makes me touch, because that tells me that even though Toriyama's gone, his legacy is going to live on. This 7-year-old kid, Toriyama just passed a few days ago, and this kid so young in his life already that he's saying Dragon Ball forever. And I think that's the beautiful legacy of what Toriyama Akira leaves behind. Rebecca Rose, I will let you go from here, because I know you have always mentioned you're a casual fan, and what I've always thought was remarkable about that is sometimes you have casual fans that they like a series, but they don't even know who the creator is. You know who Akira Toriyama was, and I remember after seeing Dragon Ball Super Broly, you made a tribute post to him saying, thank you so much for giving us Dragon Ball Super Broly. I always thought that was awesome, so let's take it away. What did Toriyama mean to you?
So, a lot like you, obviously, I did grow up with Dragon Ball. And for me, it was, I grew up with Sailor Moon as well. And my first anime that I really connected with my brother, we were watching Dragon Ball. And we would like jump on our trampoline and be like, Kamehameha, or like kick each other like in the air and like do these flips pretending to be them. And like you said, we were talking about before, my favorite quote of the entire well, I guess it's hard to say the entire Dragon Ball series, but for me in DBZ, when Android 16 is like, Gohan, you know, like it's not a sin to fight for what's right. Like some people, like words aren't gonna reach them. Like you're kind, but like this is what we have to do, and that to me always stuck with me, because I was like, dang, you know, like you always hear like violence isn't the answer, and oh, shows like this that promote violence, it's bad, but it's not all about just being violent. It's about like discipline and fighting for what's right sometimes, and protecting people who are weak and who can't fight. So I did learn a lot in watching Dragon Ball. And Akira Toriyama in general, I did grow up playing Chrono Trigger too. And I remember the only reason I started playing it because I was like, oh, this looks like Dragon Ball. Like, it's exactly, it must be the artist who's doing it. And so I just got into it. I'm like, wow, that looks like Bulma with blonde hair. And so in that way, his art really like influenced me. And then, of course, there are other animes that I watched. I'm